Christmas movies are wholesome family fun, and definitely not capitalist propaganda. Okay, before you click off this video and call me a communist down in the comments, my goal is not to critique your nostalgic Christmas films. The point I'm trying to make is that film and culture can tell us a lot about the politics of a society. Merry Christmas. My name is Clinton. Welcome to Politics for Beginners. Today, we will be taking a look at some of my favorite Christmas movies, seeing what they can tell us about politics, and really examine the connection between Christmas and capitalism. I guess I should say now, spoilers for all the movies that I'm going to be talking about today. These are some really old films. If you haven't seen these, definitely go watch them. I'll put a list now, I guess, of all the movies I'm about to talk about, because we will be having spoilers. Let's jump right into this. The first film we will be looking at today is the classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The principle here is independence and being able to truly be yourself.
But I don't need anybody. I'm independent.
Capitalists love this message. Any free society loves this message, and the fact that we are not cookie-cutter individuals. We have the right to dress how we want, to talk how we want, and really be ourselves. That is a cornerstone to any free society. Rudolph has a very humorous take because this elf in particular does not want to make toys. This elf wants to pursue a different profession.
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a dentist.
A dentist?
That's right. He wants to be a dentist. And won't you know, that's going to come a lot in handy in the later part of this film. So Rudolph gets into a fight with the abominable snowman. The abominable snowman has taken Rudolph's girlfriend captive, and Rudolph charges in and attacks. Unfortunately, the abominable snowman gets the upper hand and just cracks Rudolph on the head. Rudolph is down for the count. Lucky for him, his elf friend and the gold digger, silver and gold digger, they come to Rudolph's aid. And the elf, using the power of dentistry, detooths the abominable snowman. That's right. He actually removes all the teeth from the abominable snowman's mouth, saving the day and proving that he is one hell of a dentist. The second film, and probably one of the most iconic Christmas films of all time, What a Wonderful Life. Here we have George Bailey. The movie centers around this character, but under the gaze of being yourself and being truly independent, George Bailey represents the little guy. This is a very much a David and Goliath kind of story, where you have Mr. Potter, the big business tycoon. Here, Mr. Potter is trying to buy George Bailey, trying to hire him, trying to give him all this money in hopes that he can finally have the building and loan, which is the last independent business in their little town. Now, George is initially impressed by the salary and sees dollar signs in his eyes. However, after shaking his hand and feeling the cold grasp of evil, George Bailey has a change of heart.
No, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I don't need 24 hours. I don't have to talk to anybody. I know right now. And the answer's no. Doggone it.
George essentially tells Mr. Potter to shove it, that he refuses to do business with such a greedy and shady character. George, in the end, stands up for his principles and remains independent. In Rudolph language, we could say it is okay to be a misfit toy, to not always fit in, because society as a whole, free societies, want you to express yourself how you choose to. And I think Rudolph and What a Wonderful Life are great examples of the little guy standing up against the big powers that be. Now, we're going to check in with George Bailey at the end of this, but let us move into our next section, which is all about consumerism.
Every holiday season, there's one toy everyone has to have.
What would you like for Christmas?
Horrified, I heard myself blurt it out.
I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 2-inch range-ball air rifle.
Oh, Christmas and consumption. Don't these things go hand in hand? Christmas is all about gifts and buying gifts, mostly to express our affection for one another, to express our gratitude to our family and friends, but also to keep those capitalist gears turning. Gotta feed the beast, right? Christmas is the biggest time of year for retailers, whether brick and mortar or online, and it is really a time where consumption is glorified. This can be seen in many Christmas films. Recently, the film 8-Bit, starring Neil Patrick Harris, but I like the old school stuff. So let's take it back to the 90s with Jingle All the Way, and, of course, the classic, A Christmas Story. Both of these films center around the idea of a child really wanting a certain toy. In A Christmas Story, we have the child wanting this certain toy, and it's a dangerous toy, and he promises his mom that he won't shoot his eye out. In Jingle All the Way, we have the father frantically running around trying to get the gift for his child.
Oh, excuse me. Yes? I'm trying to find a German doll. Me too. Do you have any more in the back?
This is because the father legitimately believes that if he doesn't come through on Christmas morning, his kid will be so depressed and sad, and this will have a domino effect on their relationship moving forward. Even jokingly, the film shows the kid becoming a complete drunk because his dad neglected him and didn't give him the presents of his dreams. So both of these films and the overarching message of a lot of these Christmas stories is that, yes, consumerism is an integral part of Christmas. We all want that perfect gift. We want to give that perfect gift, but the gift is not what is important. What is important is family and being around those who we love. The best movie that puts this message forward is none other than The Grinch. As I'm sure you guys are aware, The Grinch attempts to steal Christmas, going around on Christmas Eve, taking decorations, presents, and anything he can get his hands on. Is the Grinch successful? No, he is unable to stop Christmas from coming.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And as he sits on the top of the mountain overlooking Whoville, listening to the sounds of joyful singing, he ponders and ponders and ponders and comes to possibly one of the greatest quotes in all of Christmas movies.
Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store.
Maybe, just maybe, it means a little bit more. We can't talk about capitalism without talking about the idea of profit. And who better villain, not the Grinch, but Mr. Scrooge himself, to tell us about the profit motive.
You want the whole day off tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
Not convenient. And it's not fair.
It is only once a year, sir.
It's a poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December.
Yes, Scrooge does not want to give his clerk, his employee, the day off work. He finds it exploitive, and why would I possibly think of my fellow man? Now, as many of us are familiar, Scrooge is then visited by his dear friend, Jacob Marley. He will see 3 ghosts, or 3 spirits throughout the night, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, and each of these ghosts will lead him on a spiritual journey towards enlightenment. When Scrooge wakes up the next day, it is Christmas morning, and he, like the Grinch, has had a change of heart. He buys the biggest turkey in the town and sends it over to his employee's house. He then goes to his family and has dinner with his long-lost relatives and dines with them. The whole story of Ebenezer Scrooge is really the idea of taking somebody who is too obsessed with money and profit and greed and showing them that helping out their fellow man is actually valuable, not only to society as a whole, but to their own soul. This is where we're also going to pick up the story of George Bailey. After he turned down Potter's deal and decided to stay independent, he was very concerned about how his financial situation would unfold. He even went so far as contemplating suicide. However, his community came through, and boy did they come through in a big way. Personal donations from family and friends poured in to help George Bailey and his family in his time of need. And this is a beautiful quote here from Clarence the Angel. Remember, no man is a failure who has friends. This is the idea that community plays such an integral role in our societies. This idea of charitable giving is very key to the Christmas experience. Yes, Christmas is about consumption and buying things, but it is also about giving back, being charitable, and helping those who are less fortunate, especially during the holidays. The last film I want to go over and the last topic we are going to discuss is this idea of faith. This is represented through Polar Express, the movie about the train up to the North Pole where the main character receives a magic bell, and you're only able to hear the bell if you are a true believer. What does this have to do with capitalism? Well, it drives at the idea of the American dream. And if you work hard enough and that you put in the hours, you will be successful. The idea of faith is such a cornerstone of the capitalist society. I know this runs in parallel with religion more broadly, and the idea that there are things that exist beyond what our five senses can interpret. But here in North America, I would say that the American dream, loosely defined, even us Canadians have our version of the American dream, that if you work hard, you will be successful, and all you have to do is keep the faith. Do you hear the ringing bell? As I said at the top of this, culture plays a big role in shaping society. The movies that we watch as kids are really kind of foundational pieces that allow us to develop our morals as we grow older. Capitalism is the main economic system here in North America. We have gone through some of the guiding principles of capitalism, that among it, the freedom to be yourself, consumption based on supply and demand, and the profit motive. All of this centering around the idea of holiday films. I hope examining these films under the lens of capitalism was useful to you guys from a theory perspective, but also fun in terms of making these concepts relevant to everyday lives. I want to wish you guys a very happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday that you are celebrating. I hope you get some time off work. I hope you get some time with family and friends. This is going to be the last video before our Christmas season, but I will be back in the new year to further explore politics in an engaging and fun way. So have a happy holidays, you guys. My name is Clinton, and I will see you in the new year.